Hello and welcome to Afido Media. Today, we're embarking on an incredible journey to explore the lifeblood of a continent, the magnificent rivers of Africa. From the legendary Nile to the powerful Congo, these waterways are not just lines on a map, they are cradles of civilization, sources of immense power, and home to unique ecosystems. But what makes African rivers so special? Let's dive in and uncover their fascinating characteristics. One of the most defining features of many African rivers is their steep, long profile. Africa is often called the plateau continent because much of its landmass is a series of high, flat plateaus. As rivers flow from these highlands towards the coast, they often plunge over steep escarpments, creating dramatic waterfalls and rapids. Think of the spectacular Victoria Falls on the Zambezi River or the Livingstone Falls on the Congo. This rugged terrain makes long-distance navigation extremely difficult, if not impossible, for large vessels. Historically, this has been a barrier to trade and exploration into the continent's interior. However, this challenge presents a massive opportunity. The same rapids and falls that hinder boats create enormous hydroelectric power potential. The sheer force of the water dropping from great heights can be harnessed to generate clean, renewable energy. This is a vast, largely untapped resource that holds the key to powering Africa's future development. Next, let's talk about seasonal fluctuation. If you've ever seen an African river, you might notice it looks completely different depending on the time of year. This is because most of these rivers have a highly variable flow, directly tied to seasonal rainfall patterns. During the rainy season, rivers swell into powerful, raging torrents, carrying huge volumes of water and sediment. But during the long dry season, many shrink dramatically, sometimes becoming just a trickle or a series of isolated pools. This boom and bust cycle affects everything from agriculture to transportation. The one major exception is the mighty Congo River. Its vast basin straddles the equator, meaning it draws water from tributaries experiencing rainy seasons at different times of the year. While one side of the basin is dry, the other is wet. This balances out the flow, giving the Congo a uniquely stable and powerful discharge all year round. Second only to the Amazon globally, this constant, immense flow makes the Congo River an absolute powerhouse for hydroelectric potential. With projects like the Inga dams capable of generating enough electricity to power a significant Po, or tie-in of the continent. Before we continue exploring these amazing rivers, we want to remind you that this educational content is brought to you by Afido Media. Our mission is to share knowledge and spark curiosity about the world around us. If you're enjoying this journey, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our future explorations. Now, where do these rivers end their long journey? Many of them form extensive deltas and swamps as they meet the sea. A river delta is a landform created by the deposition of sediment carried by the river as the flow leaves its mouth. Over thousands of years, this buildup creates a maze of distributaries, wetlands, and fertile land. The Nile Delta in Egypt is the classic example, a cradle of ancient civilization whose fertile soils have supported agriculture for millennia. The Niger Delta is another massive one, rich in oil reserves, but also home to vast mangrove swamps, which are crucial coastal ecosystems. The Zambezi River also forms a delta as it flows into the Indian Ocean. These deltaic mouths and the associated mangrove swamps are incredibly important. They act as natural barriers against coastal erosion, serve as nurseries for countless fish species, and support unique biodiversity. Another fascinating characteristic of some African rivers is their exotic nature. An exotic river is one that flows through a region where precipitation is not enough to support its flow. Essentially, it gets its water from a much wetter area upstream and then journeys through an arid or desert landscape. The most famous example in the world is the Nile. The Blue Nile originates in the wet Ethiopian highlands, and the White Nile from the Great Lakes region. They join and then flow for thousands of kilometers north through the scorching heat of the Nubian and Sahara deserts in Sudan and Egypt. Along this journey, the Nile loses a tremendous amount of water to evaporation under the intense sun and seepage into the dry ground. Without its sources far to the south, the Nile would vanish in the desert. This exotic flow is what allowed ancient Egyptian civilization to flourish in the middle of a desert, bringing life-giving water and fertile silt. Beyond these main points, African rivers have other unique qualities. Many of them showcase what's called a dendritic drainage pattern. If you look at a map, the river and its tributaries look like the branches of a tree, spreading out to collect water from a wide area. This is common in areas where the underlying rock is uniform. Also, many African rivers are geologically ancient. The continent of Africa has been tectonically stable for a very long time, meaning it hasn't experienced as many mountain-building events as other continents. This has allowed rivers like the Congo and the Zambezi to carve their paths over hundreds of millions of years, creating deep gorges and complex systems. This ancient history also contributes to the incredible biodiversity found within them, including many species of fish, like the cichlids of the Great Lakes, which are fed by these river systems, that are found nowhere else on Earth. The presence of large, shallow inland lakes, like Lake Chad and the Okavango Delta in Botswana, which is an inland delta, also sets the African hydrogeography apart. The Okavango is particularly special, as the river's water fans out into the Kalahari Desert, creating a lush, watery paradise that supports an abundance of wildlife before eventually evaporating, never reaching the sea. So, to recap, African rivers are defined by their steep profiles, creating huge energy potential, their dramatic seasonal changes in flow, the fertile deltas they build at their mouths, and the exotic journeys some take through arid lands. They are ancient, powerful, and full of life, shaping not just the landscape, but the history and future of the entire continent. From providing water for millions and enabling agriculture in deserts, to holding the promise of clean energy, these rivers are Africa's greatest natural treasure. Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of Africa's incredible rivers. We hope you learned something new and feel inspired by the power of nature. This has been a presentation by Afido Media. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. See you in the next video.